Hey there, Light Warriors. David here from davidD.ca, where we talk about personal development, spiritual growth, and plant based living. The three pillars that will allow you to reclaim your worth, stand in your truth, and create a life you can fall in love with. Now, this is part 2 in our series about saying no. So, in this video, we'll explore into greater depth the limiting beliefs that cause us to say yes to way too much, universal law, and what else we can do to start strengthening those no muscles. So grab a seat and let's dive in. Now, in the last video, which I'll link to below, we started the conversation about how to strengthen our no muscles. And before we signed off, I talked a little bit about the role our ego plays in our decision making. Specifically, how fear impacts our decision making and causes us to say no to things that we are afraid of. Things that put us at risk or expose our vulnerability, which really is a good thing. We want to expose our vulnerability. We want to have the courage to do so. But fear can be a double-edged sword. It can cause us to say yes to more than we should. The fear of not being liked, the fear of disappointing others, but also the fear of missing out. So let's start by rewriting a very limiting belief, and that is one of the golden opportunity, where we believe we are receiving a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we need to say yes to. I truly believe that if an opportunity is meant for you, it will come around again. I consider this a universal law, the law of divine correction. I've seen this in my life and in the lives of those around me time and time again, where opportunities that we weren't ready to step into come back around when we're ready to really shine. A lot of us grew up in environments where it was unsafe to say no, or in cultures of scarcity where you needed to say yes to everything and anything that would come your way for fear of going without. These are part of our family pathologies. These limiting beliefs need to be healed, otherwise we pass them down to our children. It's okay to turn down opportunities because, in all honesty, not all opportunities are great opportunities. Not everything is meant for us to devote our time and energy to it. While we all love to help others and to be of service to others, spreading ourselves too thin is of service to no one. It prevents us from fully showing up in the world. But when we can selectively say no, when we can adopt the spiritual and physical maturity to say no, we allow ourselves to be more selective in where we say yes, and to do so with greater precision and in greater enjoyment. So the one thing that you can do, and this is perhaps what has been the most beneficial to me, is allow yourself additional time before committing to something. There are very few situations where you are obligated to provide a response on the spot. Wedding vows may be one of the few exceptions that come to mind. But outside of the few exceptions, you are allowed to give yourself time to think and consider what is being asked of you, as well as the impact that it will have. You can stop and say, I need time to think about this, I'll get back to you. Or, I'll need some time to sit with this, when do you need an answer by? Take the time you need. I find that when we take the time to reflect on what is being asked of us once the heat of the moment has dispersed, these are not actually things that we want to dedicate our time and energy to. And that's okay. It is okay. That just means that there is someone else who is far better suited to be of assistance than you are. We're not meant to do everything. So allow yourself that grace period. And if you've made a commitment to get back to someone with an answer, please honor that. Come back to them with your answer, whether it's yes or no. Don't avoid. If you fail to do so, that person has to circle back again and ask again, and you may find yourself in the same flustered state with the desire to please and make a commitment that you'll regret. So practice your integrity. If you've made a commitment to get back to someone, do so. When you practice this, you'll save yourself copious amounts of anger and resentment. Always remember that while it can be really difficult to say no for fear of disappointing someone else, know that the people who truly value and respect your time will not be hindered by your no's. They will understand and respect the value of your time. They will mirror that worth back to you. Those who are upset and bothered by your rejection to their requests are the ones who are coming with ulterior motives or hidden agendas. Those who mirror your sense of self-worth and self-respect will never be bothered by your no's. They will remain loyal and understanding. And remember that explaining yourself is a form of deep compassion, both to yourself and towards others, as we discussed in the last video. When we explain ourselves to others, we invite them in, so keep yourself open. Remind yourself in those moments where you have said no and are feeling the deep discomfort of having disappointed someone who wanted perhaps some of your time or your energy, or the fear of having passed on an opportunity, that by saying no to this, you are giving yourself room to say yes to something else. Making space for the things that we want in our lives is easier when we start to say no to the things that we don't want. Now let me know in the comments below if you've enjoyed this video and if it was of service to you. Let me know what your biggest takeaway from it was. As always, if this video was of service, hit the like button, click subscribe, and make sure to share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Until then, sending you love. Stay strong, warriors.